3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Before we get started, I'm gonna eat me a little grapey grape. Oh shit, there it is. We're live. What's up, guys? Sup fam? What's up, print fam? What's up, Cam's print fam? What's up, print fam with Cam? This is the whole group, man. The whole group. What the fuck? Dude, I'm out of practice. You miss 1 week and you're like, what am I doing? But thank you to everybody that is here now, and to everybody that isn't. Go to hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling real like threatening today. I don't know. Don't know what my problem is, but I just feel very threatening. But for everyone that's here, thank you so much for hanging with me. You know what? Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Roll that intro. That's right, Monument Limited. You know we're presenting the print live. And hey man, what's going on here? There we go. Catch my breath. What's going on, print fam? It's your boy Cam. Welcome back to the Print Life Live video podcast. We've been doing the whole interview thing. Today's just a special one. We're bringing it back to the old school. It's me, it's you. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do a little shop news, maybe a little Q&A, maybe try to keep this thing under an hour. 30 minutes would be pretty cool, but then that never seems to work out. But we'll give it our best shot. I just started reading the chat, got completely distracted. Before we officially get into the show, let's do all of that social media shout-out shit that I know you all just absolutely love, but we're going to do it anyway. So starting with all of my social media, make sure that you're following me at Cam Earven on Instagram. And breathe. Dude, I'm telling you, you miss 1 week and you like... so yeah, follow me at Cam Earven on Instagram. Hit me up on... follow me at Cam Earven on Twitter. And the big thing, there's a couple of things. So first off, as far as the YouTube channel goes, I wanted to bring this up before, but I just can't do it. So anyway, after these live shows end, you know what I mean? Even when you're interacting in the chat, that's amazing and all that stuff. But once the show ends, for these videos to stay at the top of the search results on YouTube or Google or whatever it is, we need comments and we need likes or dislikes. If you hate the thing but you're here because you're a hater or a troll or whatever, I don't care. Hit the thumbs down. If you want to talk shit in the comments, go ahead and talk shit in the comments. But once the thing ends, man, I need them comments. We need them likes because that keeps this thing up and relevant. So I need everybody who's here hanging with me watching it, or even if you watch it after the fact, throw me a comment and throw me a like or a thumbs down. And like if you don't, then it's like, okay, you're a hater. If you watch the thing, you're here, you're hanging with me, you can't go into the comments and give me a little, what's up, Cam, thanks for the show, or, Inking Zink was here, or whatever. The Inking Zink, I'm not shouting you out, I'm not calling you out, I'm just saying. But you got to do that stuff, man. Otherwise, you're a hater, and I'm going to start excommunicating you from the fam. Okay, so I want some comments, babies. Thank you so much. Last but not least is with the podcast thing. So usually between 2 and 3 days after we go live, this one probably won't go on the podcast, but maybe it will. It depends. But when we have guests, we shoot them to iTunes, we shoot them to Google Play. Head over there. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, download the episodes. But most importantly, man, like this matters a lot. We need the reviews on the podcast. The more reviews you get, the more iTunes may... puts more. I don't really know how the whole iTunes things work, but we need reviews, okay? And a lot of you have already done it, and I really, really appreciate it. But we need them damn reviews. So that's that. That's all the social stuff. Now that that's out of the way, what did I want to talk about today? So I guess I'm just gonna jump right into the shop news, and we'll start the shop news segment of this thing off by talking about my favorite subject in the entire world, me. Actually, though, before we start that, let's just give a quick shout-out to everybody that's in the chat that's here. The ones that are here are the only ones I care about. Inking Zink is in the house with us. We got 3126 Main Enterprises hanging out. Got here early, coming in strong. Got Lost Boy TNT, Diverse City Print. Basically, you guys remember I only shout out the people who are actually on the in the chat. So if you're not in the chat interacting, unfortunately you don't get shout outs unless you post shop news on the Print Life Facebook group. And we're going to talk about that group here in a second. For Him Printing Co., welcome Casey, good to see you. Madison Smith, which is RMS Printing, welcome. Bearded Adrenaline, Tom Mel, Owen R., Jurassic Prince, what's up, Jack? That's my boy down the street. His print game is strong. Let's see here. Lost Boy T, I already said what's up to you. Clarence Welly, what's up? Cursed Angelo, Jason Garza, Raul Campos, Cheryl Brown, Jesse Massanova. Randy Schaefer, Jason Inns is here, Sarah Wayel, and I think that's about it. Just Right Printing, Nick Macedo. Welcome everybody to the Print Life live video podcast, man. What we got going on here? So we're just going to get right into shop news. We're going to talk about me first. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff to update you guys with. Hang on. Just as far as what the hell's been going on with me, because I've been I've pretty much ghosted YouTube other than the live shows on Wednesday. So you guys are probably just going like, what the fuck's up with this guy? I don't really interact in the Facebook group, and I haven't been posting to Instagram. So there's a bunch of stuff to go over. The first things first is that I don't even really know where I want to start. I've been transitioning, not our entire shop, but a big portion of what I've been doing here has been transitioning over to the live screen printing thing. I've been putting a lot of time and effort into it. And over the course of the last month or so, we've been doing a bunch of gigs. A lot of those gigs I'm not actually allowed, like there's like NDAs, or we can't talk about them for whatever reason. They like to keep them private. So, but the one that I can, I posted about it. And we recently had some situations come up where we have 3 gigs plus one, so 3 different gigs with the same company, and then another gig going on with different company, all going on the same day, like the same weekends. 3 different cities. We got New York, Chicago, Orlando, and it came up last minute. So I have been running around chicken head off assembling. I redesigned the mobile press because the first one was shit. So I did a redesign on it, lightened it up, made it more efficient, easier to set up. And the things are hard as shit to build, expensive as shit to build. And I got 2 of them, 2 full kits assembled like within the last 2 weeks. So and I have to manually tap everything and all this kind of shit. It's been insane. And I've just finished it up last night, dude. I've been working like late nights and all this shit trying to get it done. But we got it done. Everything got shipped to the events, so we are ready to rock and roll on those things. So that has been overwhelming for the past 2 weeks. But before that, and like up until recently, you guys know that I don't like. I've told you before, like my mind is 100% in the shop management software. And because it's more or less all that I think about and all of this kind of shit, it's like I don't want to keep badgering you guys like with the YouTube videos and shit like that, talking about that thing, because again, it's the only thing on my mind. So I've gone kind of radio silent until I have some real stuff to report. Now, as far as the software goes, I have been slowly bringing beta testers on, like 1 or 2 a week. And we've just been getting people set up, and you know, when you first start bringing users on, you think you have everything lined out, but then they get the thing, they install it, they get stuck, and then they can't fix it. So we're having to like figure out where people are getting stuck, what makes it complicated to set up, so that we can then try to fix it. So that then it gets a little bit easier for the next person and the next person. The first few, the first 5 people we tried to bring on, dude, they gave up. It was just too much, but we're ironing out those kinks, and the software is amazing. It's extreme. It simplifies extremely complicated tasks in your shop. However, right now it's limited. Like, it's really only screen print centric. If you do anything else besides screen printing, it wouldn't really work for you. At the moment, we're working on the next phase right now, but just at the moment, it's extremely limited. So not everybody can use it, but the people that are and that are getting it set up, I feel like hopefully I'm still waiting on feedback from some of them, but it feels like it's hopefully it's like nothing else out there, and I truly believe it is. So it's looking amazing. And as far as when it's going to actually be available for shops, we're going to have a very limited number of spaces coming up very soon. But you know, I've said it before. People keep direct messaging me like, when's it actually going to be ready? And I'm all, next Monday. And then they hit them, next Monday. And it just seems to be the way this thing works. So I'm not going to say when it's officially going to be available, but it is coming soon. We're really just on that home stretch of trying to line out the last few pieces. So when that time comes, I will hit you guys. You know, I have your mailing list. Everybody's on my email list, so I'll do an email blast to everybody letting you know that it's time. I'll also do a YouTube video, and I'll post in the group. So everybody will know. But again, the slots are going to be extremely limited. So just get in quick. Just hit me up as quick as you can, and we'll get you set up. And as an introductory offer, and because the features are sort of limited right now, like we're going to be hooking the first it's going to be like a 30-day term, and the first 100, man, we're going to hook you up with like the craziest rates. It's crazy. So you're going to be super into it. And if you get in early, you're going to be able to benefit from all that. So anyway, that's enough about the software. Moving on. One of the shittiest things, and I'll go to the chat after I finish this long-winded story, talking about me. The shittiest thing that has happened is, you know, it actually happened, I just found out about it, and someone mentioned something in the chat a while ago that it was happening, but I kind of brushed it off. But then, like, I found out about it a month and a half ago. The monumentlimited.com, which is a WordPress website, it has nothing to do with the actual shop management software, but my WordPress site is older than shit. I mean, I've had that thing live way before I even started screen printing, because remember, I built it when it was just an idea to start screen printing. So it's been there forever. It's had tons of plugins installed and removed and this and that, and it's been infected before, but it got infected again, like, bad. And it got affected so badly that that Google, like, disapproved my ability to run ads on it, and it also kind of like affect my ranking on local search and all these kind of things. So the development team has been we were almost to the point where we were going to just like wipe it out and just start a new one over, but don't want to do that. Got a lot of rank in the thing, so they were able to fix it. Hopefully, but I'm still waiting for Google to officially to do the review and make sure that it was clean. But somebody was able to get into the WordPress site and straight up install a script that would, even if you clicked on an organic search link in Google, it would redirect people to like all kinds of crazy sites and shit, man. So it's been a goddamn nightmare. And I'm on the phone with Google almost every day, but because of the fact that, you know, I talk to you guys, I'm going to go all over the place right now. I talk to you guys all the time about how important I believe a web presence is, and how, like, the website is the most important point of contact that you can have. And I truly believe that, right? When it's good. But when shit happens is when you really feel the effects of that concept of having all your eggs in one basket. So when it started happening, it didn't really dawn on me, but I noticed like there was a new client calls and stuff. There was a little bit of a drop off, and at first I was like, it must just be the season and shit like that. But then we started looking into it, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, Google's basically not serving me up. And I've been feeling the effects of the shop, man. Like, granted, it could also be associated with our price hikes and all that kind of stuff, but nonetheless, the work has been falling off. So the shop went from kind of like steady, and then it's been in a slowly decline. And dude, like, we have some work. We have work from all of our existing clients, any repeat business, all that kind of stuff. But like, we have been getting no new goddamn clients, dude. And it's scaring the shit out of me, dude. Like, I don't, it feels like I haven't slept in 2 months. So now that that's sorted out, I can kind of breathe easy. As long as Google approves it and they acknowledge that it was fixed, everything will be able to go back to normal. But that's what's been going on with me in the damn shop. Live screen printing is still kicking, and that's kind of where a lot of my focus has been lately. In other news, I got something to tell you guys. So as y'all know, Me and Jesse specifically, we have been working our balls off trying to figure out water-based screen printing. I mean, we've been experimenting with additives and different ink brands and all this stuff. And during the winter, it was cool. Like, we weren't having the same problems. But when the summer hits in Phoenix, dude, the humidity levels drop to like 3%, and it's hot as shit. It's almost at curing temperatures sometimes. Like, not really, but you know what I'm saying. And the water-based screen printing is such a nightmare here for us as a manual shop in the hottest shop in the world. And like I've been chewing on the notion for a while when it started heating up, but we have officially decided, and this is kind of nuts, dude, and it's actually kind of weird to say because I was so gung-ho about it, but we've kind of decided for the time being to actually completely pull away from water-based printing, man. It's just for us and the issues that we were having with it, we're not going to even offer the shit no more, dude. I mean, we'll do some discharge stuff, like 3 colors or less, as minimally as possible because I hate discharge, but we're pulling away from all the acrylics, the HSA stuff, and we're just going to, we're going to just try to simplify the product output within this shop. And it's really weird to say that. It's the first time I'm even publicly saying it, but that's where we're going with it, man. And I guess I would like to know in the chat, any of you guys that have experimented with it and your successes with it or your failures with it. You know, like I was saying, when the temperatures are cool, we find a lot more success. But when it starts heating up in this place, dude, it's I don't know, man. Either we're doing something extremely wrong, but I really do blame it just on the environment. So, yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys have experienced anything like that. And I'm going to move on to it, but I'm going to pop back in here and talk to you about it. So, yeah, I would just like to know where you guys have been, where you stand with all that. Now, in regards to plastisol printing, though, we are, what we've just basically done is just stepped our game up on that. And now I'm starting to experiment with different like underbases, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff, just to try to make the plastisol prints as absolutely clean and beautiful as possible. And dude, it's like after we've been over the last however I guess year that we were messing with water-based like full time, going back to plastisol, dude, it's almost, you almost ask yourself, what were we thinking? That's what everything is easier with plastisol, man. It's actually mind-boggling that people over in Europe and shit just use water-based so successfully, man. I don't know. But anyway, I do think that if you're an automatic shop and you have humidifiers and all that stuff, that for sure it's a possibility. But for me, dude, it's just like, it's not the final output, although it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. I really, really do. I think that the final output is a superior print to plastisol, but it's not enough of a difference in our current circumstance to take on the extra hassle. And believe me, dude, in longer run shit and higher color count jobs, it's nothing but a hassle. So yeah, man, I would just love to know your guys' opinions on that. Actually, let's see if anyone said anything. Oh, well, this is good news. RL just got his 6x6 delivered, and he's thanking me personally for being an incredible source of information. Well, you, sir, are welcome. RL. Yeah, so yeah, see, like Jack, he's right down the way too. He's a plastisol guy, but you know, like Jack, you guys print water-based. I know, you know what I mean? It's just like, again, like what I was saying earlier, the results are beautiful if you can maintain those humidity levels in this joint, dude. That's just the biggest problem. But yeah, Garrett, plastisol's the way to go. It's crazy, right? Dude, but I do have this feeling, man, and again, we put a lot of time and effort into it. And we tried every goddamn thing, and I really wanted it, but I kind of feel like failure in that department, man. But it is what it is. So that's the choice we've made. That's a good point, dude. Allegiant Graphics. He likes the cleanup of water-based inks. Yeah, bro. Oh, it's so nice, right? You got a bucket of water, a sponge, and you just go to town. It's so goddamn easy. But yeah, and it really is on the longer run stuff where it becomes a problem. And You don't, if you don't know, you just don't know. But like Arizona, I think, mid-north parts of Texas, dude, that dry heat that we deal with specifically in this location, it's a real motherfucker. It's very, very hard to deal with. But anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Now, let me see. I think I got a little bit more news here. Oh, yes, dude. Dudes and dudettes. I guess I just want to mention the Facebook group. I don't really know where I'm going to go with this. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm not sure how I'm going to relay all the information, but we're going to give it a shot. Shit, that was horrible. Okay. Up until my buddy so my friend dropped by the other night. He had some bad news, and actually, you know what? I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out. So, a friend of mine, he was a good friend. He passed away recently from a very long battle with cancer. I won't give his last name, because I don't know if they would feel comfortable about it. But to the friends and family of Art, if you are watching this thing, I'm extremely sorry for your loss. He was an incredible person, and as a matter of fact, probably most of his friends and family, actually probably none of them know this, but this guy Art was the first person to ever invest in me as a business person. He was the first person to show faith in me. I was selling pop art at the time, pop stencil art and shit like that, and I had this bright idea that I was going to paint up a bunch of them. And it's so funny when I think back on it, but it was a really good experience. But that I was going to get a mall kiosk, the little carts in the mall, the little shitty things, they sell crappy trinkets and shit like that. But I had this bright idea that if I could get these things in front of enough people that I could sell it. Because before that, I was pretty much just taking a stack of them that I had painted, going into the parking lots of malls, and like cold selling them to people like, hey, look at my shit, you want to buy these for this amount? So I was just trying to look for an easier way to do that, and I had the bright idea to do the mall thing, but I was also broke, would-be trying to be artist. So I had no money. And I had this bright idea, and I was like, well, how am I going to do this? And I kind of talked to the mall, found out what it was going to cost, and I approached a few people about it, and they were like, and then I approached Art about it. And he, just out of the kindness of his heart, man, without any reason in God's green earth to believe that I'd ever be able to pay him back, he loaned me basically the $1,000 to get the carts just for one weekend. And he was the first person to go, I whatever it is, man, I think you can do it. Let's fucking have you do it. So shout out to Art, man. Rest in peace. You're gonna be missed pretty much by everybody who knew you. And to all the friends and family out there, man, I'm sorry for you. It's a huge loss, and he will be missed. So that was not a bummer, but I just wanted to put that out there. So back to the Facebook group, though. So the friend who came to me to actually tell me that it had happened put me on game to these Facebook groups, and I guess I never really understood what they were. So the Facebook groups are from what he told me, they are the new forums, right? And so I know in the past, like in the earlier days of the internet, and even till a little while ago, if you were a person getting into an industry or you were experienced, you would visit the forums to get whatever information you needed. You could search things, you could find all these things, and there would be some really incredible forums that would pop up, right? And all of this information was at your fingertips from other experienced people that had either just started and went through the problem and they figured out a solution and all this kind of stuff. But what would happen with forums, much like Facebook groups, is the trolls would come out, right? And it always seemed to happen then when a forum started gaining traction. And a lot of the trolls were industry professionals. They're not like fucking kids and they're on their laptops in their underwear sitting there fucking talking trash and stirring shit up. They're there too, but the majority of them are industry professionals that are either trying to take newbies down, I called them in the car business crap out artists, and any number of things. And it would happen in the forums all the time. Well, Facebook groups are the new forums, and the Facebook group has a series of trolls. You know what I mean? And again, a lot of these trolls, I hate using that word, but I don't really know what else to call them. I'm not that versed in the whole thing. They're in a lot of ways respected. You know, as a matter of fact, the most famous troll in the screen printing industry is none other than Rich Hoffman himself, the owner, creator, starter of M&R. Like in the old days in the forums, the t-shirt printing forums, he literally had fake accounts. And he would go through and troll motherfuckers. He would slam other companies. He would do all of these fucking crazy things. He's like the OG screen printing troll. And so I guess the reason I bring that up is what you'll find now in the groups. Okay, now we're transitioning. So the groups are the new forums. And what you're finding now in these groups is that these industry professionals, some of them are very experienced and they're very, very goddamn good, but they're kind of taking a page out of Hoffman's playbook, the M&R guy, and they're coming in and trolling the groups. Not just my group. I mean, this is group wide. It's not just me. But a lot of them are also very respected, very expert screen printers. And trolls do one thing, right? Some of them are just bored. Some of them have like senses of humor is very similar to me. Like the interesting thing about trolls is that on a personal level, outside of like trying to create something, I fucking love it. I love smart ass comments and clever shit. Like I enjoy it, and it matches my sense of humor. However, it's counterproductive when you're trying to do something or when you're trying to create a source for information. So with that in mind, the trolls are out, and they're in the Print Life Facebook group. This is an extremely long explanation. Hopefully y'all are still with me. But the trolls are out, and they have infiltrated the Print Life Facebook group. And a lot of them are loved. Some of them are hated. Some people, you know. But over the course of the next couple of months, I'm going to monitor it, and I'm going to keep an eye on who the trolls are. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments and the type of comments that are getting hit, especially with new people that are trying to get information. I'm going to make the Print Life Facebook group a source of useful information for screen printers. And it's just going to be based on my judgment. And at the end of the day, if I decide that somebody is a troll, whether they are or they're not, I'm going to fucking block you, dude. So that's the thing. We're going to start pulling people out of there and make it a safe place. This is the 2019, man. It's the Me Too. It's PC. So we're going to make it a safe place for you guys to come in there and acquire knowledge when you need to. And in some cases, this may even include people that are also very helpful. But if they're helpful and they're trolls, excommunicated. Yeah, the fam. You can go to hell. Go start your own group. I don't know. Go fucking start a troll group or some shit like that if that's what you want to do. So I just wanted to let you guys kind of know where I was going with the Facebook group. I understand the value of it now, and I understand that it is a source of information, and that I'm going to try my damnedest to moderate and make sure that it remains and continues to be that, and take out all the other bullshit. Okay, so you guys may find in the coming months that even some of the people that you rely on as a good source of information, if they do that, but they're also playing the crap out artist game or the troll game, they may disappear. Okay, so just don't be surprised if you see that start happening. And also, if you know people that tend to do it, maybe warn them beforehand so that they can either, if they want to hang out in the group, they can stop. Because once I block them, dude, they out. You know what I mean? So that is that. Oh, yeah, so then, dude, this is 30 minutes of me babbling about myself. I love it. I absolutely love it. In regards to YouTube, I have this here. I can't even remember if I talked about it, but the reasons that I haven't been posting to YouTube has obviously been because I'm busy, obviously, because I don't want to talk about the software thing. And here that fucking goes, huh? That doesn't take very long. But another thing with YouTube is that I'm not gonna post much, and you're not gonna see much other than these live shows until, dude, I feel like I already talked about this, but until the software is officially live. And honestly, a lot of it, I'm gonna be honest for a second with you guys. It has been because I'm kind of like embarrassed, and I feel a little bit like a failure, bro. These fucking phones, man. Turning it off. Hey, bro. No calls all day, and then when I decide to go live, then everybody starts calling me. Hopefully there's not an issue with the thing. And Lino's actually commenting on the thing. I feel like Facebook in general is built to upset people. Yeah, I do agree. But, And I even remember hearing like on the old forums and shit like that it became a full-time job trying to moderate it and keep it what they were intended to be. And I just think that I can do it. And I feel like, especially within the Print Life group, there is so much valuable information there, and the community is getting so strong that it just needs to be policed a little bit better. But I 100% agree that Facebook in general as a place to hang out for your general health and well-being is dude, people, you should not spend a time on Facebook. It is so bad for your health, dude. It's bad for your mental health. The only time it's really fun is if you're a troll or a meme hero or some shit like that. Those people tend to really get along well on Facebook. Anyway, YouTube. I was sort of like, I guess, embarrassed because if you guys remember last year, I think middle of the fucking year, I made this announcement that, oh, the software is going to be ready by fucking September, blah, 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 right? And 06/19/2019, the shit is still not actually officially launched. And at first it was cool, like, oh, it was just a few months late, and then it turns into half a year late. And then, but like now I'm just like, I just feel like I just can't show my face in videos until I have got this thing to a fucking point, to some kind of point of completion. At this point, it doesn't even have to be perfect. It just has to be a usable product that people like. But until that, it's like, I just feel like I can't post, dude, because until that's done, I'm a failure, and I should not be posting anyway. So that's kind of why it's been radio silent on YouTube, and we're going to move on from here. So, but the following year, I have some really cool plans on how I'm going to create a bunch of content with it, and it's just going to be a lot of fun after the software launches, whenever the fuck that ends up being. But you guys hang in there, man. It's coming along very nicely. So let's move on to the other part of this, the part y'all are here for, which is to actually talk about shop news that you guys have submitted. But before we do that, I'm just going to kind of stroll on in here with all the what's ups. Nick, this headset is the Audio Technica BPH-S1. So this headset, bro, they're super goddamn expensive, but this is like a condenser mic, very similar to like the Rode SM57s or whatever. But I tried that whole mic boom arm thing for a while, couldn't stand it, and because then you also have another wire for the headphones. So this just felt like the best solution to kind of allow me to move around and shake and do all the weird chair adjusting that I do. And it also keeps the audio more even having it here as opposed to those mics where if you're far away it gets quieter and shit like that. So it just works out really well for me, and that's why I've been using it. But yeah, check it out. Super expensive. And getting all this audio stuff set up for these live shows the way I have it is pain in the butt. What else we got here, man? Guys, I'm looking through the chat here, so if it goes a little quiet, just wait longer. Hey, this is an interesting note, and this, I completely agree with this. 3126 Main Enterprises, LLC, Nick P. YouTube name is way too long. Shorten it. Like, as soon as this video's up, shorten it. The YouTube name is way too long. It's a whole different feel. Some people like that printed look and feel. I 100% agree. As a matter of fact, there's like the younger cats that are starting brands up. They're not even interested in that discharge no feel print. They want the traditional like 90s kind of thick print again. So these things come in waves, right? And I'm sure you've also noticed that nobody wants the jumbo prints anymore. Was that spray contraption not working for you? This is in regards to what I was talking about stopping with water-based printing. So the thing with the spray contraption, it would have worked to some degree, right? But it didn't really work the way that we needed it to, just based on our situation. And again, it was just like one more fucking thing, dude. It was just like one more thing you had to do. You had to remember to fill it. You had to remember to turn it on. You're dumping the shit on it. And then the wires getting all bound up because we tried setting it on the center of the carousel, and then we had a platform away from it. But when the platform's away from it, it's only hitting the ink like in one screen area. So it just didn't work, man. It was a fucking failure. bought lava white, and they're saying it's so sticky the shirt pulls it up. Huh. You may be printing too thick, dude, or yeah, probably. You might be printing too soon after the flash. There's a lot of stuff why that would happen. I feel like the lava white's actually pretty good stuff, but maybe not. What we got? What do we got? Cheryl Brown's been called a troll because of sometimes colorful hair and 4'11" height. Yeah, well, not an internet. I have nothing clever to say there, but that's fucking funny, dude. What's up, Jose, all the way from Rhode Island? What else, man? That's it. So, I don't even remember where I was going with this. I was going to say something, and I wanted to go into the chat. Oh, yeah, we're going to move on to the shop news, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything important in the chat. Oh, okay, cool. So, 3126 doesn't actually make videos. Still, dude, I'm just going to call you Nick P. What's up, Elite Pro, man? How you doing? I hear the Zodiac Ox. So Dustin Hagen says Zodiac Aquarius discharge inks are awesome. I think they're pretty new. Chromaline Emulsion Guru posted about it on Instagram. Yeah, man, I like discharge inks and like water-based inks, not the high solid stuff. They're a little bit easier to deal with than the high solid acrylics. But discharge, dude, like, and you guys have seen my shop, man. Our ventilation, I kind of jerry-rigged a system that ventilates. But, like, we don't have a fresh air pool or anything like that. And the discharge, man, just until they come up with something that is a non-carcinogenic discharge agent, bro, I can't, unless it's like a client that absolutely insists, I'm not promoting it, I'm not using it. I just can't deal with the thing, man. That Wilflex white, people are loving it. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty down with Wilflex. There's some things I don't like about them, some things I do like about them, but overall they're pretty good. There's you know what, guys? I think I said this before, but we had a gallon of Excalibur red ink hanging out here, and we ran out of our regular Wilflex red, and we had a live gig, so we loaded it up in the screen, or we loaded it up in our containers, and we took it with, and that Excalibur ink, it has this really cool, it has a nice smell. It's very different from regular plastisol smell. And, dude, it's buttery, goddamn smooth. If any one of you are in contact with somebody at Excalibur or anything like that, get them in contact with me, man. I want to sample their entire product line. I would love to get my hands on some of their systems to figure it out. So if any of you are in contact with any of them, man, get them in touch with me, dude. Because Excalibur, I don't know. I'm interested to try it. Anyways, okay, so let's move on to the shop news portion of this, because I babbled, man. I really had a lot to say. Didn't think I did, but I had a lot of shit to say. All right, let's start with I'm going to just do my general shop news search. Well, actually, let me refresh this. I'm going to go ahead and go on over to the Facebook group thing, the Facebook view. If this thing will actually do it. I think the software just froze. There it is. All right. So, we got some stuff here. I want to see if shop news. I'm just actually going to start here by typing in shop news, and we'll see what that gives us, and then we'll kind of work our way down the thing, because I really confused everything by adding hashtag cam shop news, hashtag shop news. No one knows what the fuck to post. So, let's start with Hank. Hank Wang has got some news here. Let's see what he has to say, huh? Never posted any shop news before, but he finally got some good news coming for us. After 6 months of waiting, Hank has this heavy-duty press. Looks like it's coming from a Riley Hopkins press. Made it all the way to the 3rd floor in his apartment in Taiwan. So Hank is going to be printing out of his apartment. That is gangster, dude. Can't wait to start pulling. It's so, like, screen printing, dude, so much of the nomenclature of it in the thing is so sexual in some strange way. Pulling, strokes, pushing, pulling, stroking. It's very funny, dude. But overall, I'm super happy for you, man. That looks like a killer press. Congratulations, Hank, and thank you so much for sharing your shop news. Very happy for you. Manny Ruiz, shop news, applied himself and landed a couple of jobs to stash away and make an upgrade in his life. It looks like he got himself the Vastex D1000. Wait. Today I reflect on the day he walked. Okay, so I'm going to start fucking over, dude. I messed that all up. He's super excited and ready to take this to the next level. And today is the day that he's reflecting on the day he walked into the tiny shop 15 years ago, knowing nothing about printing, embroidery, graphics, and all that, and just wanting a job. And now it looks like he's doing it for himself. On a side note, what's the most economic way to support the dryer? I'm really leaning towards a foldable table and in specific, dude, can't read. You just simply can't read. And in specific, to have retractable legs, preferably low to the ground. Would love to see others' input. Yeah, man, a folding table will work wonders. That's what we use when we use these things at the live gigs and shit. Just a good old-fashioned folding table. Get you everything you need. You can push it towards the end. You can put your box under it to catch it. And then you have all this staging area. Yeah, you'll be good to go, man. Folding table, we'll cut it. Congratulations, Manny, on the new dryer. I think you're going to love that thing. All right, what do we got from Jimmy Lee up in this motherfucker? He's over there at New Era Printing. That's looking cool, man. Is that Leo? Lucky Leo? I like it's like a painting, man. You guys did a real good job, like, making it look like it feels like I can't really see any of the dots in there, man. It looks real good. Great job, guys. Thanks for sharing. Who else we got? Dude, I saw a video. And again, this stuff isn't trolly, man. Like, I wouldn't count this as trolly because it's funny, but it just also keeps it light. If I can find it, I'll show you, man. But Pete, dude, he's got this new, like, shop manager, bro. And the dude, he's for sure a spaz, but hilarious, dude. I can't wait to watch it. What we got here? This is from fucking March, bro. I feel like I shared this one already. Okay, so let's try hashtag shop news. See, like, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to probably be repeating some stuff here, man. All right, here we go. So we got some stuff from Tim McEllen. He tried screen printing a grayscale photo. He used ultraceps to separate the photo into a white underbase, 2 grays, and a black. Turns out when I print using the 4 screens, the results sucked. Printing only the white underbase and black screens gave me the results I wanted. Yeah, you know what, Tim, man? Again, I'm not in any way, shape, or form an authority on any kind of process printing. I'm in the process of learning that better myself. But I've had similar things, man. It seems like a lot of the times when I would separate them, whether it was manually or through any kind of set program, I've tried all the different shit. Like, the grays would kind of, like, oversaturate. So I don't think I'm pulling the color back enough. And I think that that's what the deal with color separations, man. Like, you just have to put in your time and you have to know how to manipulate it in the computer, expecting what the results are going to be on the press. So there's a lot to it. So you're not the only one, my friend. But you'll get it. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for being honest. That's what we need around here, man. The thing about all this shop news stuff, too, and, like, being honest with your failures, anybody can be a fucking print hero, dude. Anybody can keep out all the bad shit and only share the things that go right. And for the most part, you're just a faker and probably sort of an asshole. But the people that are like, they share the good things and the bad things, man, they're helping other people. So you're actually helpful. And it also takes a lot of guts to be honest in that way. So thank you for doing that, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for saying that it didn't go your way. Jimmy Halfstrom just picked up this Earven Avenger. It looks a lot like the M&R to me. Maybe that's the older one. 6x6 with micros, 10 pallets, and 2 jacket clamps for around $600. That's really good, man. So he's just getting into the thing, it looks like. Because he's been using a cheap Chinese eBay press up until this point, dude. You might as well keep it hanging around. You can still run some one colors on it. But yeah, dude, that's nice. Congratulations, Jimmy. I hope everything goes well. Thank you for sharing, my friend. Keep reporting in. Keep hashtagging shop news. Let us know how it goes. Let us know your successes. And also let us know your failures. We'd love to hear how things are going for you. And ignore the trolls. Here we got something from Francis Daniel. New shop on the way to open soon. A small 950 square feet of retail beauty, man. It actually looks really nice. Congratulations on that. This is Pub Express. Pub Express. And I'm loving it, man. You know what I like you did up here on the and if you're just listening to the audio, he did something really clever. He just put like almost like a cardboard cutout body, and it allows him to kind of hang shirts on the wall. How come I never thought of that, dude? I love that. Gonna steal it. Very cool, man. Thank you for sharing, Francis. But yeah, it makes the shirts look cool hanging on the wall. They got some structure to them. You can see the graphic, but you can also tell it's a t-shirt. It doesn't just look like a poster. Very clever. Good way of doing that. I'm wondering if you cut those out yourself or if you can buy them on eBay or something. Either way would work, I'm sure. We got some more people sharing their patent registration systems. People like really, it's an interesting thing about pallet registration, dude. Like those kind of systems they're useful, right? And we use Rapid Reg. It's extremely expensive. It's a little bit overpriced, but overall we like it. Just there's certain reasons I like it, and I'm not going to go into the details of why I would need to do a whole video on it. But I'm not going to do a whole video on it because I paid for it, so I don't want to give like too much free promotion or anything like that. But pre-registration systems are very, very simple to create, man, and any of you guys can do it. You can pay for them, you can build them, but they are very, very different than like an actual system that you do some bump plates and stuff and it's actually in perfect registration. So if a lot of the times like people maybe have seen my videos and they misunderstand what I'm going after, we have a ton of systems in place to get the films really close to the same location on screens, and we only have to do some micro bumping and all that kind of stuff. But what I've been searching for and going after is the ability to just bump it in. You don't even touch the micros and it's completely in registration, which is a much more complicated thing to do. But this is an awesome grid, man, and I bet you that works really well for you. So thank you for sharing, Pete. I can't tell if you drew that on there or did. Oh, wait. Platen registration media. I tried out a grid screen. So you print on the platen, dude. Interesting. 5 layers of tape. And so you just pull one layer off at a time. That's clever. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Thanks for sharing, man. I actually might try doing that. So you print it directly on the platen, palette, platen, whatever. And then you just let the tape show through. Clever. I like that. Very, very good. What we got from Mr. Eric Wright? If I say one more time, I'm not going to do anything. But just know inside I'm going, God dang it, quit saying that. Shop news. Having my electric panel completely rewired today to make room for a breaker for this dryer. So Eric picked up a nice dryer here. Gently used. Gently used with rust spots and all that good stuff. But I'm sure it still works like a tank. First conveyor dryer. Excited to not have to flash cure anymore. So yeah, this is going to be a huge upgrade for you. There it is. I hope that's never going to stop. I don't even know why I call myself out for it. The thing with dryers, though, is that, like, especially when you're getting older ones, dude, there's always some kind of electrical problem. However, I hope that doesn't happen for you. But if it does, don't be too surprised and just get ready to hire an electrician that doesn't know how to fix it. That was very downer of me, dude. I didn't mean to do it that way. Dario Aguilar, thank you for sharing, by the way. There it is again. Shop news. Remodeling our 750 square foot shop. Now printing and excited to grow. Hype Print Lab. I like that. I like that name. Hype Print Lab. I like it. Shop is looking clean. I really like the vaulted ceilings in your warehouse there. That's cool. Built himself a divider here. Got some good clean shelving going on. It's got the Vastex, whatever that press is. I can't remember the model number because can never remember numbers. But it just looks amazing, brother. Thank you for sharing, Dario. I'm loving it. Here we got some stuff from JD Merrill. Shop news. Hashtag shop news. Flag City Clothing's new warehouse and restructured retail shop are up and running. Big learning curve going from a manual V2000. That's probably the green one. To the new Ryonet Rock U PM 8 color, but the presses are always moving. So let's take a look at the shop here. It's clean. I like how he's got everything perfectly organized. Sick, man. It's interesting, man. Like I'm not really I'm not really like a brand whore or anything like that. But I do like the color that rock has. And I've told this before, but when I first started the YouTube channel, I had a lot of the early subscribers. Like, I did a video with like comparing different colors, right, that I was considering using for like my accent color, and 80% said the lime green was the way to go. There's something about that color, man. I'm not sure what it is, but it's just almost uplifting, I think. So the shop is looking clean. It's got a couple roll-up doors. He's got some nice, what do you call those? They're I don't know, anti-fatigue mats in all the walking area, but they're the gridlock kind, so you're not going to be tripping all over them. They're going to be sliding out from underneath you. It's a nice setup, very clever. It's going to suck when you have to sweep and mop. Those things will look new for a week. Oh, cool. And then he's got this, like, in the office, he's got this littler kind of setup going on, probably just for, like, one-off pieces or for short-run stuff. That's cool, man. Very, very cool. Like the walk-up. The retail space looks sick. It's very inviting. That's a cool shot. I like the blurry background. Makes it look more epic. Nice retail display, huh? And they're also selling merchandise. Dang, I love it, man. Great job, JD. Shop is looking killers. You guys go check them out. Flag City Clothing got themselves a new warehouse. It looks amazing. We got Spencer here. Shop news. Not screen printing, but new edition. They got halfway through training, and now he is stoked because it looks like they got themselves a DTG, man. That's looking good. Perfect for small batch multicolor jobs and retail sites. I agree, brother. It looks amazing. Congratulations on the thing. Hopefully you can keep it running and it makes you a lot of money. All right, now we're going to try hashtag Cam's shop news because I just moved past the whole thing. Cam shop news. Let's see if that gives us anything. Okay, this is Jay Bazan. Oh, man. 2.5 years of curing with a flash. Finally picked up a conveyor dryer. Itchy, itchy, itchy nose. Knocked out tonight's job in no time. Bro, yeah, like once you've been doing the whole flash cure thing and whatever it is you're doing, when you get your first conveyor dryer, it's just like, oh, right? The whole world changes. It seems like you could actually do it, right? Twisted Ink 4080. Thank you for sharing, by the way, my friend. Jay Bazan, thank you for sharing. Twisted Ink's just sharing a nice little tip and trick when they to prevent sleeve prints from dragging. This is specific to these presses, but yeah, you could do it on some presses if they have some kind of opening on the bottom, but you're just tucking it up into the arms. Very clever. Thank you for sharing. That's what I'm talking about with these groups, man. These little tips and tricks like this. When you share this kind of stuff, you're expanding people's knowledge. You're making them think about their solution different. Because, you know, a prime example of that is when I started using water-based adhesive, no one ever told me that you scrub the lint off and you can reactivate the adhesive. But I had a printer come in for a while that was working with me, and he just like basically figured it out. And then so we shared it with you, and now it's like common practice to scrape this stuff. But it's like when you just share these little tips, man, maybe they're good, maybe they're bad, but you share them, and then people can try them, see if it works for them, and then eventually, you know, it can become either standard practice or people don't do it. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, dude. And also, I think within the group, a big thing is just troubleshooting. So, like, if you guys are working on something and you actually document the process, right? Like I was trying to simulate this thing, and I was doing all these things. I was trying to do color separations, and I put it to press, and this didn't work, so I had to pull the levels back a little bit on this color, and then all of a sudden it worked. If you share those experiences, then you're helping other people figure it out. Now, if you're greedy and you don't want to share none of your stuff, then maybe you don't belong in the group anyway. You know what I mean? But if you have it, if you have the knowledge, please share. That is the point of the whole thing. And thank you, Twisted Ink 4080, for sharing that. What do we got here? Josh Roberts. Burned the artwork on 2 different positions on each screen. And it won't line up. Yeah, man. That's why you use those little pre-registration templates. So for us, we actually do it on the glass. Some people do it on the palette. Some people do it with a T-square. But that's why you do it, man. You just kind of set up standard practices, and it prevents all that stuff. But I promise you, we've all done it, dude. Thank you for shelling. Thank you for shelling your information. New word. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. Hey, bro, that stuff happens to me when I'm paying attention. One of my biggest downfalls is my attention to detail with certain things. Like, I can be hyper detail oriented on certain things if I'm obsessed with that thing at the moment. But if I'm not, if it's something outside of what I'm obsessing about, all of it falls through the cracks. Thank you guys for sharing. Now I'm just gonna kind of hit the Print Life group. Some people posted, most people didn't. I'm just going to go to the Print Life group and just kind of run down it. Maybe we can start the Q&A portion of this thing. Let's hit the chat up a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my view. Oh, by the way, god damn it, I forgot to do it, dudes. I forgot to do the shout out. So it's not fresh in the thing. That pisses me off because I wanted to make sure it was fresh. But shout out to Hellbox. Follow him on Instagram at, I think literally at just Hellbox. Let me double check that. But remember a long time ago I said if you guys do any kind of cool artwork or whatever, I'll feature it down here in the corner. Well, this is from Hellbox, and he hooked me up. He's a red beard, brown hair cam. I think that's supposed to be me or some kind of fucking leprechaun or something. But nonetheless, the graphic is awesome. And thank you so much. Just follow him on Instagram at Hellbox or Hellbox Studio. Just search Hellbox and you'll see him. But shout out to him for that killer little... this killer graphic, dude. It's pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. I like it. It's a nice mascot. So, let's move on to the Q&A portion of this bad boy. I'm going to do a little restructuring here so I can bounce between the chat Q&A, and then I'm just going to kind of maybe tackle some stuff in the Print Life Facebook group. So, let's start with the chat. I'm working my way back up. Starting from right here. Okay. Oh, so yeah, so South Texas, so this is back to the whole water-based thing, and Garrett Lowe saying you can't find the environment. So South Texas has a lot of humidity, huh? I wonder how high up it goes. I feel like if you're in Midland and above, right, or mid-Texas and above, don't know what that would be considered, but I feel like the humidity is probably similar to Arizona, but maybe not. I don't know nothing about Texas. I make assumptions a lot. What do we got here? So Diverse City Prince has a dome tent over his home. Really? Like a greenhouse? Or are you spraying for bed bugs? Matt Fontaine, late as always. What's up, Matt? Thanks for joining in, my friend. Crash courses. No way, dude. But I am going to be doing a little tour next year on the murder cycle. So I'll swing by any shops that want me to swing by as long as it's on some kind of a path where I'm going, dude. Get you into vlogs, get some, maybe sit down and do a little interviews with you. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff here in the coming years. What up, Jose from Rhode Island? Hey, my face is itching. Okay. I'm trying to work my way through here. So definitely, if you have any questions about whatever, screen print and shit, I know everyone's asked almost every question you can ask about that at some point or another. But if you have questions about the software, we can talk about that. My personal shit, whatever it is I'm doing. You can even ask some stuff about like live screen printing, but there's certain things that I won't answer because I'm just trying to keep that thing tight because it's already just starting to get saturated, and after which is kind of frustrating. But yeah, ask. Pulling, stroking. Loving it. It's so, right? The screen printing world, man. It's nasty words. I don't know who, sometimes I can't tell. Oh, at the ink buildup. Okay, not talking to me. So Mark's saying you can buy those cardboard cutouts I was talking about earlier at Hobby Lobby. That's how he displays his shirts. It looks cool. I really like that look. Build your own Rapid Reg. Very cool. Yeah, Rapid Reg does. I will say this about them. Again, not a product endorsement. They did some things with it, which is why it's valuable to me, where you can have an extremely tacky palette. You can have just freshly glued the damn thing. You can still stick the Rapid Reg on there, and it pulls off easy. Like, so they have a backer on it, and it's not felt. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it adheres a little bit to it, but when you pull it off, it's like it just pulls off easily. There's no real damage to it, and it doesn't stick too much to it. Like with the plastic film by itself, dude. Woo! So they do have some little features, and then they've also done some line weight stuff and some registration mark stuff that really just makes it a complete package. Although we had to modify the registration marks to work better for us, but overall it is pretty cool. And I think that's the thing, man. Like, it's like, oh, we make your own, but it's always good to test other products. If you have the resources, if you got a couple $100 extra bucks, you just have to keep trying new stuff, especially if you got the time. But building your own Rapid Reg is absolutely, that's how I did it before I bought the official Rapid Reg thing. I did the exact same thing. I printed out my own version of it. I just kind of wanted to see how they go about it, and they figured some interesting things out, some things I never thought of. It is interesting, though, right? Because you're like, what? It's just lines printed on a film. Not exactly. And they also, man, and that's another thing, too. So they got me this is something that I always did wrong. And when I saw how the way that they do their system, it's clear that they put a lot of time and thought into it. So they keep, there's like a 1 point line. Like the main line is 1 point, right? But then your registration marks are like 1.5. I think it started out at 2 points, but we took it down to 1.5. And what that does is it actually, when you're registering it to your marks, it creates a white stroke around it. So you know that it's easier for you to see if you're off just a hair, like a cunt hair or whatever you want to call it. It makes it to where you can tell if you're off. And so it's just one of those little things where just me buying that system, I would have never thought, for some reason, I'm certain I would have never thought about it. But once I saw it, I was like, oh! And then we implemented that with everything that we have out here. And now, like Jesse and myself, we can manually register everything lightning fast. It's so, again, the whole point is test stuff out, man. Because you never know what kind of clever little thing this shop came up with. You just never know. Yeah, again, shout out to Hellbox, man. I fucked up, and I wanted to shout him out at the beginning of the thing, but I got distracted, as I tend to do, and that was the way it was. Okay, so print it to win it. First question of the official Q&A portion of this. You ever try additives that make plastisol feel like water-based with any success? Excuse me. Yeah, I've tried the plastisarge. Hey, dude, go back to English class. God. I start talking too fast is what it is. My mouth starts moving faster than my brain. I've tried the Plasticharge additive from Chromaline, not Chromaline, CCI and all these, and it's cool, but again, I don't really prefer discharging. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I'm trying to think what other additives. Like, we've reduced things down. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff. Like, we've used curable reducers. We've even used just base, you know what I mean? Like Wilflex base to add it to the white to slim it down a little bit. I've tried a lot of different stuff. One of the biggest things that I found when it comes to printing manually is that the thin threads, when you combine the thin thread, the S meshes or whatever one, the 48 micron threads like on a 150, when you combine that with just a nicely stirred smooth white, we don't have as big of issues with ink temperatures because it's always hot here. But when you have a nice stirred up ink, it really comes down to like the pressure that you use. So what we found, and this is, I don't know if it's best practice, but it's the practice that works best for us. A little bit more pressure on the first pass to just kind of to penetrate the fibers a little bit and get that first layer down. And then on the second pass, man, like, the lighter the pull to where it's just enough pressure that you're clearing that screen, it changes the entire feel of the white plastisol print. So typically the lighter pull the better. Like, your blade, man, should barely be flexing. And it's a habit that I've had to break, because when I first started, I just muscled up on it, and the blade would be just right, and then the ink was just, and the screen was like pulling behind it and shit. So, but over time, I've learned that you just got to back off that pressure, and it's a lot easier to do that when you have the thin thread screens. The other thing, which I learned, and it never even crossed my mind until I interviewed Jason, and he brought up the temperature thing and how that causes fibrillation to rise. And so we did a couple of different tests. So we started by lowering the flash temperatures even more to where it was just flashable, or it was just getting flashed, and we could still do the remaining colors and all that. And we got it low enough, and then we noticed that even after it went through the flash, even after we do the flattening stroke, because we always do that, kept the temps low so that the fibers didn't raise out from the ink, and it came around and it felt smooth. But then we would run it through the dryer, and if the dryer got too hot, it would go in smooth to the touch, or whatever. It would go in smooth, and as it was coming out of the dryer, if the temperatures were too high, you would see those fibers start to kind of, I don't know if it's boiling, I'm not sure what's happening, but the consistency of the print surface would change just from overheating it. So if you're really going for that smooth print as well, monitoring those temperatures is extremely important, and we're still working it out, but there's a lot more to it, man. It's funny too, right? Because screen printing is technically easy, but all of those little subtleties, the nuance of it, is what's difficult, and I think everyone is constantly trying to figure that out. And I'm still not 100% convinced that it is just heat exclusively, but it does seem to be, that seems to sort of be the case from what we can tell so far. What else we got here? But yeah, I don't know. I went off on a tangent there. As far as other additives, just your basic reducing and cutting it with like bases and stuff like that. I can't think of really any other additive other than Plasticharge. So if you know any of them, or if you can put me on game to that, I'd love to hear some of the stuff that you use. Let me know in the chat, and I'll repeat it so other people could try it. Okay, so Chris Gill, what's up, Cam? So you don't think the new Trilock system's nail registration good? Of course, you'd probably need both exposure unit and matching palettes, not just one or the other. There's actually a lot more to it than that. So I went through and started... I removed as many variables as I possibly could. However, I was using the older system. It didn't have the light on it and shit like that. I think that light, the little index light that they just recently put on it, is a huge advantage to the Trilock system. But the only thing I didn't change, and I haven't experimented with it anymore since then because we've just been using Rapid Reg and we're so fast on it now, it's just doesn't really matter. But if you're going to commit to that, your screens have got to have the same Newton tension. If they don't, I mean, maybe there can be a 5 Newton variable, right? Like it can be a 20 or a 25, but they need to be in that 5 Newton range. Otherwise, the puckering and the flexing and all that stuff that goes on, even just on a like a 30 seconds level, I don't know what it's called. It's still going to affect it enough to where you still might have underbase peaking in certain situations and shit like that. And to me, if the rapid register, if you're going to apply all those things, you just want it to nail it every time. So I may again at some point here in the near future, because I still have every intention of starting to convert over to roller frames. I'm interested in that whole process, and when that happens, excuse me, I'm gonna try the Trilock again. But until then, man, our tolerances aren't tight enough for it to be effective. You know what I mean? In my opinion. But there are people that have success with it, dude. I'm not perfect by any means, and I fuck shit up all the time. So just because I say it doesn't work doesn't mean it won't work. The ink buildup. What lines per inch do you prefer for your halftones? Actually, stylistically, lately, man, I've been getting into vintage t-shirts and stuff like that. And vintage shirts look like they used about a 45 line. So when I look at, for instance, a Harley Davidson t-shirt, it looks like 45, maybe 50 lines per inch. I kind of like to see the dot a little bit. So for me, stylistically, that's kind of where I've always landed on it. I don't ever step up any higher than that. Never have, probably never will. I'm not going for that look of like it was printed on a DTG, right? So that's not even the look I'm going for. I'm not even going to try to pull that off. So yeah, 45, 50, maybe 55. But again, as far as simulated process stuff goes, dude, I'm just not an expert. You truthfully, you can't ask me about it. I get it. I understand the separation process. You know, I've created my own actions. I've tried different Photoshop action plugins and all that kind of stuff. I understand it. I understand the principles behind it, but I haven't had enough time doing the separations to properly make the adjustments for that to then result in the correct like dot gains and stuff on press. So I got a ways to go. But once I start diving into that again, when I get the software goddamn launched, I'll start making videos again, and that's one of the things that I am going to document is the learning process of that. And so I'll share it all with you guys as I try to figure it out. I'm also going to actually try to bring pros in on the channel, give them a little shout out in exchange for them showing me kind of the tricks of the trade. So as time moves forward, we'll get you there. What do we got? Hello, Cam. Shout out. What am I? Oh, thanks, brother. Thanks for saying that. Anyone using Step Studio 4? Okay, so I've kind of got lost here. Anyone using Step Studio 4? I have it. I don't use it. I thought I would like it. I just don't like it, man. I think there's a couple of plugins out there. There's one called Magic Buttons. There's another one called Hi-Fi. And I think that they are the best. And also T-Steps from Scott Fresner. They all basically do the same thing. Scott's is a little bit more visually, I guess it walks you through it a little bit better visually. But they all ultimately do the same thing. So T-Biz Network, Hi-Fi, Magic Buttons. They're just actions that allow you to kind of not have to do all the intermediate steps to get a particular effect. So I would say if you're going to start learning separations, start with that. And just remember, in separations, you're not using layers. You're working in the channels. You're using the selector. You're using levels to kind of pull things back and move things around and all that kind of stuff. And Step Studio does the same thing. And I'm sure that people do tons of great steps within that thing, but it's goddamn expensive. That's the problem I have with it, is how expensive it is, I guess. I wish that they would just do like a monthly thing on. Maybe they do now. I just feel like they should just charge $20 a month for it or something like that. It'd be easier than dropping whatever the hell cost it is. Well, maybe not. Setting for choke value. So like on sim stuff, obviously you're just choking the underbass, but from my experience, you choke it differently on the underbass. So but usually, like, if I'm just trying to prevent peaking, I'll just do like a 0.5, maybe a pixel choke. We've been heavily trying to just pull off a 0.5 stroke. But again, most of our work is spot separations done in Illustrator, you know, and those kind of things. And in which case, it's just a 0.5 stroke, choking the underbass down, and it's always good to go. Dude, the way I separate it in Adobe Illustrator, I think people complicate it a lot, but I figured it out, and we're so goddamn efficient at it. But I know a lot of people successfully separate in Adobe Photoshop. It's just because we do so much spot work, I find Illustrator is way easier. Okay, what else we got here? What else do I got? The print life from Cheryl Brown. Do I have to add additive if I'm using a 230 mesh with plastisol inks? I don't think so. There's shops that do, there's shops that don't. There is no have-tos in this game, man. Like, you could ask one pro down the way and he'll tell you, yes, you do. He'll tell you, you absolutely have to. And then there'll be another pro right down the other way. One's east, one's west, and they'll tell you, no, never fucking do that. You know, some will say you don't have to stir. Some will say you do. I think that's the kind of the misinformation comes in this industry. Misinformation doesn't come from people sharing their information. It's when people get information from one person and assume that that is the gospel of the industry. There does not seem to be any gospel. And again, man, I've talked to a lot of people. I've taken in a lot of information from all of them. They all have their own ways of doing things that they swear is right, but it does not mean that it's right for you. I think that's the best advice I can give with anything in this industry so far. There are some standard rules, but I don't think that that's one of them, an additive. But again, you get different answers. In my experience, and I don't know if you're asking for just white, but so we print most of our overcolors, like our spot colors, over the underbase on like a 280. And again, these are colors, so they're not as heavy as the white ink. But we print them on a 280 and we don't reduce shit. The only additive that we add in our plastisols is a dulling additive just to remove some of that shine. And then I also got another tip from somebody. Maybe, I can't remember who it was. I've heard it from actually a bunch of different people. But if you're really trying to get rid of the shine, apparently maybe a wax paper. Now I can't remember what it was. Not the Teflon sheet, but some other kind of a heat press paper will really dull that shine down. Okay, print it to win it. Push versus pull. When I push the print, after a while the ink builds in the screen at the bottom edge of the stencil, which translates to the shirt, marring bottom edge crispiness. I have had zero luck with the push stroke, but again, like I've told you before, I always had a tendency to be heavy-handed with it. And like I know a lot of people push it, and I see them go shh, nice and smooth over it. When I do it, it feels like it catches. It's like, you know, like fucking, it's like a sandpaper or something for me. But people do it successfully. I can't get my head wrapped around it. But I think as I train myself to lighten up the pressure and stuff, I could go back to the push stroke, and it might work. I think the push stroke, it's also imperative that you have much higher tension screens, because it does seem like for some reason the push stroke tends to bind up the mesh a little bit more and things like that. But there is no two right ways, man. If you are able to put two printers on two different presses, one does a pull, one does a push, and they're both good printers, you'll very, very rarely see an actual difference in the final print product. You know what I mean? If they're doing everything correctly. What else we got here? Print it to win it. I choose Chino base in my white. Gives a softer hand and makes the ink softer without really affecting opacity too much. Yeah, we have the Chino base here. Literally never use it. I ought to give it a try. I remember experimenting with like the suede stuff for a while, but maybe Chino's the better way to go. I'll check it out. I'll report back to you guys what I think about that. Marshall Atkinson just joined in. What's up, man? Late. La 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 late. La 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 late. What else we got here? 55s. Yeah, so I was just investigating some of them. The dots are pretty big. They didn't look like 55 to me, like because I just bought a bunch of them from like they're vintage. They're like 80s era or like late 80s, like 89. And the dots are big, man. They didn't look like a 55 to me in that era. I'm sure it's changed a lot now. Dot gain changes between manuals and autos. Oh, that's Marshall just saying stuff. Okay, Cheryl Brown, print to win it. Thanks, Dana. Andrew says the same thing. Gotta look into that. What do we got here? Easy. Okay, I want to start trying halftones, but I use a halogen exposure unit. I've heard that won't hold detail as well. Yeah, probably not. I mean, yeah, dude, it's all so you just have. I feel like, so this is the thing, man, and this is what I've been noticing over and over and over again in all of these different groups, and it's like I do enjoy answering questions and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you'll come up with questions after you try it, and I think that those are going to be the most valid questions, because what you will find is that some halogen works. Sometimes you can do it, dude. Like when I had the exposure unit before I put the LED in, it was just a halogen lamp. It wasn't metal halide. It wasn't any of that kind of stuff, and we were able to hold detail on our screens, and it was just a halogen goddamn lamp. So I just think that you have to try it with your particular setup and see what the results are, and then you can get in and show people, like in the groups or whatever, show them what your results were, and then it's a little bit easier to go, oh well, maybe you need to add time, you need to back time off, or yeah, that system's just not cutting it. You know what I mean? Because a lot more comes into play too. If you don't have really dense films, you're not going to be able to hold detail any goddamn way. You know what I mean? So just give it a shot. Get some kind of separation going, even if you don't separate it properly. Just get some halftones going. Maybe start a little bit lower on the lines per inch. See if you can burn that, and you can work your way up until you find the dot that you feel produces the best result. And then use the group. Please post your findings, show what you use, tell what you use, and people will chime in, and they'll give you some tips on it at that point. But yeah, good question, man. What do we got here? Cheryl Brown. I avoid stirring the inks. What do we got? Okay, looks like it's it, man. We've been going forever. I talked about myself for a very, 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 very long time. So just to close it out, guys, the Print Life shop management system it's in beta. We're bringing beta testers on slowly. As soon as we iron out the kinks that are kind of holding people up on the setup, which is just really the last issue, I'll fire off some emails to you guys. I'm going to fire off a YouTube video I'll post in the group that it's available. We're going to have limited slots for like the first 30 days. We'll get you in. We'll get you using it. At an extremely discounted rate. So just keep your eyes out on that. And right now it's really just screen print centric. So it won't work for shops that are offering like promo products, and it'll still work, but it would only work for the screen print side of your shop. We're adding the second version now, which will allow you to do the embroidery and all that other kind of stuff. But we're not going to launch that until we make sure that people are into the system and using it and liking it, because all that other stuff, costs more goddamn money, but we have already started developing it. Make sure that you follow the podcast on Apple iTunes, the Print Life Podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed to this video. And like I said earlier, once this video ends, we need you hitting the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribing, dinging the bell, and leaving a comment in the video. If you've been in the chat, if you're in the chat right now, when this video ends, go to the comments and just say something. Thanks for the show. Whoever was here, blah, blah, blah. Say something. If you don't leave a comment, you're out the fam. Okay, fam? If you don't leave a comment, you're out of the fam. And if you don't leave a like, you're out of the fam. Making threats. That's the way we're doing it now. I'm just threatening motherfuckers, dude. But thank you guys so much for hanging with me. Sorry we didn't have a guest today. It's mainly just because something fell through. The same thing with last week. We didn't come in last week. We had some things fall through, and to be honest with you, it just felt easier to do it myself today. So we'll talk to you guys next week with our next guest, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, ding the bell, all that good shit. You're the best, print fam. See ya next week, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or Arizona time, 3 p.m. Be here, or you ain't part of the fam. Later.